Optimism is the fuel that powers every success. Loading ourselves with this, leaving no space for pessimism, refusing to do evil, and choosing to be influenced only by that which is good is a path we can all take to achieve the success we desire. Hi there, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is Jamaica Magazine. We're so glad you've joined us. On the pages today, we'll look at new opportunities for increased employment being facilitated by government through expanding investment in the business outsourcing sector. We'll also look at the importance of having good mental health and how you can preserve it. Plus a recap of our top news stories of the week still to come. So stay with us.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to
live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
Job creation and economic growth is a priority of the government. The business process outsourcing sector is being used as one of the drivers to achieve this objective. Take a look.
When the government speaks of job creation, an industry that should readily come to mind is business process outsourcing (BPO). This thriving sector is experiencing double-digit growth and, according to JAMPRO, could create 15,000 new jobs within the next 5 years. So government has been using BPO as a conduit for achieving the strategic priority of job creation and economic growth with positive results. Business process outsourcing, or BPO, involves engaging a third-party service provider to do specific business functions. This means companies overseas can hire local entities to handle certain aspects of their business, such as customer service call centers. Other functions include general office operations like accounting and human resource management. Jamaica has a competitive edge in this sector due to its geographic location, the ability of nationals to speak English, and the educational qualifications of citizens. Within the past few years, government has been capitalizing on this to formalize the sector. The main point of support comes from the Ministries of Technology, Industry, and Education, collaborating with the private sector representative group, the Business Process Industry Association of Jamaica, BPIAJ. Members of the BPO industry benefit from several incentives under the free zone regime, including income tax relief on profit earnings and duty-free importation of machinery and tools used in their operations, such as computers. There is also direct monetary support, such as the Development Bank of Jamaica's commitment of $23 million in loan to the ICT and BPO sectors this fiscal year. All these interventions have supported the current environment of about 40 BPO companies operating in Jamaica. These entities account for approximately 14,000 jobs, but government's goal is to add hundreds more as part of the strategic priority for economic growth. In October 2014, a $195,000 contract was signed to roll out new business process outsourcing BPO facilities in Montego Bay. A month prior to that, $6 million was invested in the construction of a BPO facility in Port Moresby, Catherine. Both of these private sector-driven developments represent the latest result of government-supportive policies to encourage an expanded BPO sector in Jamaica.
The commitment is there from the government in all the areas that needs to be addressed as we move forward to ensure that the sector not only remain alive but thrive and is sustainable going forward.
As evidenced by the Mobay and Portmore developments, government is well on its way to achieving its BPO goals. The contract between the BPIAJ and Columbus Business Solutions means the creation of an incubator for business operators who wish to operate from the Montego Bay Free Zone. The incubator, which is slated to become fully operational by December 2014, is designed to fast-track the entry of new BPO companies, providing hundreds of jobs. As for the 40,000 square foot BPO facility in Portmore, it's expected to provide thousands of jobs during the construction phase, while another 550 persons are estimated to be employed during the startup phase.
Space has been our major failing, and the space is not going to be provided by the government. My view is that you can create 3 million square feet of office space tomorrow and they will be filled. But it requires from entrepreneurs that element of risk.
Jamaica and the business process outsourcing sector, a partnership that's poised to make the island the outsourcing hub of the Caribbean, a partnership that supports government strategic priority for job creation and economic growth.
Did you know regular physical activity controls your weight, reduces your risk of cardiovascular diseases, reduces your risk for type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome, reduces your risk of some cancers, strengthens your bones and muscles, and increases your chance of living longer? Get active, get fit, stay healthy.
If a healthy nation is a wealthy nation, then our health is our most precious gift. An important part of our holistic healthcare is maintaining good mental health, and the government is placing renewed focus in this area. Check out this next feature.
Then Susie, you saw John Clark, you might get off.
Why you say that?
You look mad from the other day.
I don't think I'm mad, but I'm probably just depressed.
Yeah.
2 months now since your mother dead, you know. Me know you'd have depressed if it was you too.
Not true.
She's right. Doctors say the human mind is tough but fragile, and the tragedy can cause the strongest among us to become depressed, withdrawn. It's the reason the Ministry of Health is promoting good mental health, habits and relationships that will not just keep your body but your mind healthy. Mental health. What readily comes to mind? Medical experts say good mental health is simple. Mental functions working well to help you live a productive life. It is also the ability to maintain sound relationships with other people, to adapt to change and cope with adversity. According to the World Health Organization, good mental will help determine how effectively and successfully a person functions in society. Now, to tell us more about mental health, we're joined by Dr. Maureen Irons-Morgan, Director of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services in the Ministry of Health. Dr. Maureen Irons-Morgan, thanks for speaking with us.
You're most welcome.
There's this saying, there can be no health without good mental health. To what extent is this true?
Actually, Andrea, this is very true because mental health is a very important part of your general health. In Western society, over the years, we have separated mental health from physical health. But in fact, in the East, for example, you'll see that there's a lot of linking between mental and physical and spiritual health. And more we're recognizing that your mental health is an integral part of your whole health.
Now, statistics from the World Health Organization shows that there's some linkage between mental illnesses and physical illnesses.
Right. And the 4 most common physical illnesses that we know that affect people would be diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, respiratory diseases, and cancers. And these account for about 60% of the death worldwide. Now, all of these diseases have been found to have significant mental health component. For example, with the cardiovascular diseases, you find that people who have a cardiovascular, a coronary heart disease, heart attack or so, they have an increased chance of being depressed. Maybe about half, as much as 50% of these people will experience depression, clinical depression. Similarly with diabetes, cancers, respiratory problems, people with long-standing illnesses often, more than other people who don't have, experience some amount of depression and anxiety disorder.
Now, there are various policies and programs here at the Ministry of Health to help persons who have various mental disorders.
Yes.
What are you doing to assist them, and how effective have these programs been?
The mental health service of the Ministry of Health is delivered through the different regional health authorities. And in every region, we have the mental health services delivered very closely linked and integrated into the general health services. We have at the primary care level the health centers, community centers and so on, where mental health care is delivered. And then at the secondary care level or the hospitals, mental health care is also provided. As you know, we've been moving away from a large institution and moving towards community-based services.
Since mental health is so important, how can we maintain it?
Well, there are lots of things you can do, Andrea. Just taking care of your general health is a very good place to start. Eating well, good nutrition, exercise, those are good places to start. Getting involved in satisfying relationships that help you, help to build your self-esteem. Doing things that you enjoy. A simple thing like taking time to experience something humorous or funny.
Maybe a comedy or something.
Yes, it is true. In fact, you know that the Bible says that that humor is a good medicine. Yes, a merry heart is a good medicine. It is true. It does help. Decreasing stress, you know that it is a stressful life. People are rushing here and there. It's important to take it easy, not get caught up in the rat race. You know, pace yourself, take the time to enjoy simple things.
Dr. Morgan, thanks a lot for speaking with us.
You're welcome, Andrea.
Good mental health is the ability to realize one's potential, cope with the normal stresses of life, work productively and fruitfully, and be able to make a contribution to one's community. If your mind is healthy, you're more likely to feel capable and competent, maintain satisfying relationships, live an independent life, and be able to recover from difficult situations. Remember, there is no health without good mental health, so protect yourself by keeping a strong body and a healthy mind.
Each time you're not paying full attention to the road environment, the greater your chances of getting in a crash like that. Plan routes to avoid focusing on GPS systems, prevent children from roaming in motor vehicles, turn down the volume of car stereo systems, pull off the roadway if you have to use mobile devices, do not read, watch television or eat while driving, avoid multitasking, and keep conversations with other passengers to a minimum. Whether you walk, ride or drive, avoid potentially fatal distractions.
Every year, migratory birds make a stop on the island as they move across countries and continents. We observe this phenomenon and the concerns they generate in this or next feature.
The Jamaican sunrise sets the morning on fire, and the islands of the Moran Keys shimmer in its orange glow. suddenly there's another burst of energy. The silence is pierced by a terrible noise, and the sky is transformed into a sea of flapping wings. These are the birds of the Keys. They are what are known as seabirds. That is, birds that only come to land when nesting. The sooty tern, royal tern, brown noddy, laughing gull, and a magnificent frigate bird are all inhabitants of the Keys. They nest here each year between the months of April and August. Most birds lay a single egg on the ground. Because nesting is done primarily on the ground, the eggs are vulnerable to predators. Thus, the color of the eggs acts as a camouflage. They are cream to light brown in color with dark brown spots that blend in with the sand, making identification pretty difficult. Seabird colonies are rare on the Jamaican mainland, making offshore islets such as those of the Moran Keys important areas for nesting. At last count, the number of nesting birds numbered 240,000, and this was on just one of the 4 keys comprising the Moran Keys. The Keys lie approximately 60 kilometers southeast of Moran Point and 90 kilometers southeast of Kingston. These are the sooty terns. They are the dominant species on the Keys and come all the way here to nest after roaming the tropical seas of the world. They are very territorial and defend aggressively what is known as their pecking distance. This is the total space around which their beaks can extend while they're on the nest. Sooty terns are one of the most abundant of the world's tropical seabirds, and when away from breeding habitats can only be seen from a boat at sea. One of their most distinctive marks is a deeply forked tail. This is followed by the white of the forehead that extends to the eyes. Because of these marks, the birds are highly distinguishable, especially when in flight. Whilst the Keys are relatively predator-free, the eggs of these birds are preyed upon by other dwellers of the Keys. The ghost crab is a natural predator that eats the eggs of the sooty tern. They make their move when the birds leave the nest site to look for food, and the eggs are left unprotected. Another pilferer of the sooty tern's eggs is the laughing gull, a small bird with a reddish bill that also inhabits the Keys at this time. However, the greatest threat to the eggs of the sooty tern, and those of other egg birds for that matter, is man. For centuries, the eggs of these birds have been collected in the hundreds by fishermen and sold for large sums of money. This was because they were believed to possess aphrodisiac properties. It was not uncommon to hear in the downtown Kingston area a vendor's shrill cry of booby eggs for sale, booby being a name given to the egg birds that inhabit the Keys. The result of this practice was an alarming decline in the population of the seabirds. In 1970, their population dwindled to about 1/10 of the numbers present in 1920. An intensive management program implemented by the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, the NRCA, in 1982 has made the colony viable once again. And although eggs are still collected, it is an illegal activity that attracts a fine of up to $100,000 or a 12-month prison sentence. Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guards also monitor the Keys. This regal-looking bird is the royal tern, an egg bird that produces an egg that looks like that of the sooty tern. It is a much larger bird than the sooty tern and brown noddy, identifiable by its bright orange-yellow bill and shock of elongated black feathers at the top and back of its head. They too nest on the sand among the only vegetation that grows on this barren sandbar, the seaside parsley. Because of its size and coloring, the royal tern really stands out among the other birds of the Key. However, the most superior bird on the Key, in terms of size, is the magnificent frigate bird, or man-o'-war, as it is commonly called. It measures between 94 and 104 centimeters, with a long forked tail and slender pointed wings that are bent sharply at the wrist. Its habit of floating motionless in the air makes this bird easily identifiable, and while adult males appear entirely black when on the ground, females are distinguished by a shock of white at the breast. Young frigate birds appear brownish black with white feathers on their heads and breast. Unlike the other egg birds, the magnificent frigate does not nest directly on the ground, but builds a nest out of sticks and shrubs. And as they are very sensitive to disturbances while incubating, they are confined to the most remote of the islets, such as those of the Morant Keys. When summer comes to a close, so too does the stay of these magnificent seabirds of the Keys. Like a great cloud, they will darken the sky, wings flapping feverishly to take them back to the world's oceans. Not all will survive the journey, but for those that make it back the next year, the Keys will provide a safe enough haven where the egg birds may propagate, thus ensuring the survival of their species.
A recap of the major news stories of the week, next.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Government has received $807.5 million in grant funding from the World Bank to implement its climate data and information management project.
If we are to be able to prepare the projects to take advantage of the availability of resources within the Global Climate Fund, we're going to need adequate data to support these project preparation activities.
National Security Minister Peter Bunting addressed Parliament this week and affirmed that Jamaica had not signed a prisoner transfer agreement with the United Kingdom.
There is no guarantee at this time that this administration will sign a prisoner transfer agreement with the UK. The government of Jamaica would only sign a prisoner transfer agreement after adequate public education and debate and the enactment of new legislation in the Jamaican Parliament.
He said a special select committee of Parliament would be established to determine if Jamaica should accept the UK's proposal contained in the non-binding Memorandum of Understanding signed during the British Prime Minister's official visit to the island. Enrolled assistant nurses became the first batch of health workers to formally accept government's 7% wage offer for the 2015-2017 contract period at a signing this week. The agreement includes access to $2 million in grant funding for training and fulfillment of a previous commitment made to them and other health workers.
$7 billion worth of reclassification, and 2 payments have been made already. And the third and final payment is to be made in this financial year.
And another group of public sector workers got good news as the Education Ministry promised to pay retroactive monies owed to non-teaching staff at primary schools starting next week. They will get 50% of the 3 one-off payments that were due to them under a previous wage agreement between government and public sector employees. The balance will be paid in December. A $4.2 million contract has been signed to expand the Boscobel wastewater treatment plant in St. Mary and the Elletson Flats facility in St. Andrew.
Under this contract, the Commission intends to replace the Boscobel facility with a new wastewater treatment plant with a capacity of 600 cubic meters per day.
The Elletson Flats wastewater treatment facility will be expanded to accommodate a capacity of 1,900 cubic meters per day. Meanwhile, a comprehensive expansion plan is underway for the Soapberry sewage treatment plant, which offloads wastewater from Kingston, St. Andrew and Portmore in St. Catherine.
Is a 3-phase module actually. So phase 1 is the 18 million gallon. We go to a phase 2, which is an additional 18 million gallon, and phase 3, which is 18 million gallons. The total capacity would be 60 million gallons because that is what we estimate or research has indicated would be the capacity needed to treat with wastewater within Kingston, St. Andrew and parts of St. Catherine.
The Ministries of Education and Health are reporting success in the overall handling of cases of the hand, foot and mouth disease in schools.
Affected children have been sent home until they are well again. Schools have been disinfected to prevent the transmission of the hand, foot and mouth virus. This is in addition to the normal sanitation activities in all schools. Some schools have been ordered closed because the number of cases exceeds 10% of the school population, as well as other factors identified by the public health authorities.
The ministry has prepared and made available guidelines on managing HFMD to the schools through the Ministry of Education. We have made information available on our website and invite persons to visit moh.gov.jm to keep updated on this matter.
And finally, water restrictions in some drought-affected sections of the corporate area have been lifted following heavy rains last weekend. NWC customers served by the Seaview and Hermitage Constant Spring systems now have uninterrupted water supply. However, nighttime restrictions still apply to areas served by the Hope and Mona systems, which only had marginal increases in their storage levels. And those are some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
And that's it for today's magazine program. But keep the link. Tell us what you thought of the show. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or hit us up on Twitter @JISnews. Also, click on our website, jis.gov.jm, for the very latest government information. On behalf of the team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry, hoping that you'll stay fit and healthy and make every day a productive one. Until next time, take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.